So this is a true story. This morning I was actually setting up all the cameras and lights and stuff to do a rant about a totally different topic. I was going to be doing a big deep dive video thing saying why I hate digital only games. I even wrote the script and got a bunch of games ready to try and dig into it when suddenly news has just dropped that they are in fact doing that theoretical remake of Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, that's right. Easily one of the best freaking Star Wars games of all time is very likely coming back. What's up gamers, Dreamcastguy here, and I am a huge lover of KOTOR. Mostly because I've always liked that Knights of the Old Republic took place in such a different era. It's far away from these weird sequel movies, it has nothing to do with anybody named Skywalker or Boba Fett, it's just over here, having fun, completely separate from everybody else. And I feel like it gave them so much room to create their own magic and villains and lore, and it is something that just managed to work so exceptionally well. They of course did do a giant MMORPG as well, the Old Republic, which to me, I just didn't enjoy as much. I like the more tight and focused center to this. Well, over the course of the last couple of years, there's been this persistent rumor that there would be some sort of sequel or remake, like a Knights of the Old Republic 3, or maybe something just along the lines of taking the original version and sprucing up the assets, more of a remaster. Well, now, there's actually a bunch of new stuff that came out today that they are now working currently on it because Electronic Arts has finally given them the approval. This is going to be a BioWare sequel or remake. So I want to read the original story because this is by Cinelinx. This is actually a website that I really like the reporting of because they're very concrete about their sources. Typically, they wait to try and hear things from several different spots at once before they report on it, just to make sure that they're giving us the clearest details possible. So let's just read their article real quick and kind of go over what specifically we could be getting possibly soon. Time to dust off an old scoop as we've heard word that a Knights of the Old Republic game remake or sequel is in the works. If I can, let me direct your attention to that bygone time of 2015. A lot of Star Wars things were in the air at that time, and we originally reported from no less than 3 independent sources that a Knights of the Old Republic remake was in some form of development. Gosh, even reading this still just makes me so excited. The game industry is a fickle mistress, however, and in 2016, I reported that the game was put on the back burner, and it wasn't something that Electronic Arts was actively pursuing. It was a bummer, and frankly, it made me look like I was talking out my ass. Alas, this is just the way things sometimes go. Until today. Unexpectedly, I heard an update from 2 independent sources, different from the ones who'd given me the prior information, and the one who helped me confirm Ewan McGregor's script from last year. This came out of the blue, and it caught me by surprise, which is the main reason I'm updating now. According to one, the previously mentioned Knights of the Old Republic remake is back in development. My other source added, saying that they felt that this wasn't so much of a remake, but a sequel of sorts. It would be a Knights of the Old Republic project that would integrate elements of the first 2 games in order to bring certain things to current Star Wars canon. Not necessarily a remake so much as a reimagining. Considering the wealth of material from the Knights of the Old Republic there's already been introduced to the canon, that doesn't seem like it's a big stretch to make it work. Unfortunately, that's all the details I have right now on this project. I have heard that EA has a bunch of Star Wars projects in various stages of work at this point, from Jedi Fallen Order sequels to the Project Luminous tie-in, to something on the Switch. There's a lot going on. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like EA has found their groove with the Star Wars license. Unfortunately, I don't know about timing on any of these, but I'm digging and hoping to have fresh updates soon. E3 could bring some big reveals, and there's a chance that they'll do their own Star Wars reveal event. That is so freaking cool. And honestly, I feel like it makes a ton of sense for it to be a reimagining. Whenever you're trying to make a straight up sequel in the games industry, there's always a little bit of just expected baggage where you're trying to be like, okay, this is everything of the previous games plus more. And I feel like this becomes extra difficult when there's this big of a gap. I mean, let's think about it. It's been like, what? 15 years? Yeah, it's been like 15 years since the last KOTOR game came out. Obviously, most people probably have forgotten how special these games are. So if you're going to try and sell it nowadays, I feel like the biggest key is trying to sort of reboot it. Now, this is going to be a crazy thing to say, but honestly, what I'm hoping is that it reminds us of Doom 2016. Now, when you think about it, Doom 2016 is in fact a remake. It's sort of a reboot. It's like a total re-envisioning of the original Doom games. It has a lot of the same lore and same monsters, but spruced up and taken into a totally new style and gives us a bunch of stuff that makes it faster, gorier, and better. I think that they need to try and follow that idea, that general concept, which is let's get KOTOR coming back, but also totally different. Let's still have the Sith and the Jedi. Let's still have the ability to get Kaiba crystals and construct our own awesome lightsabers. But additionally, maybe make it where we have new paths, new storylines, new pieces of lore, and hopefully all new planets. The idea of this is so incredibly exciting because honestly, I feel like this is going to finally open up the doors itself. I feel like I'm actually somebody who is not super against the newest stuff that Disney has been doing with Star Wars, but we have to admit it's just not as good. I kind of feel like the biggest problem when it comes to like the Disney era of Star Wars is just the fact that they seem so afraid of trying to be experimental and different. They're afraid to try and do something that's super, super wacky and weird. And honestly, back in the day, we would get tons and tons of Star Wars games that were just all over the place. I actually own a bunch of these too, and let's face it, some of these kind of completely suck, like Obi-Wan, but even still, they're fun. Like a tactical shooter. This is a tactical first-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe where you're playing as like people working for the Empire as clone soldiers. That is so freaking magnificent, and I'm hoping that maybe what's going on now is hopefully maybe Disney is finally taking the controls off a little bit. It's weird to say this, but I actually in a way kind of trust Electronic Arts in a way right now. They screwed up so badly with the last couple Star Wars games that they went completely hands off and let Respawn Entertainment make the completely amazing Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, make no bones about it, if you didn't get a chance to play it, Jedi Fallen Order is a fantastic mix of like Uncharted controlling and exploration and backtracking in a way of like Metroidvania and lots of great chances to just fight monsters. I love that freaking game. I mean, wall to wall, it is a freaking great time. And it makes me think, what if we got that amount of freedom again? What if they actually gave, I don't know, BioWare full creative control? I mean, these people made it long ago, and I've read some interviews in magazines and stuff that they have long wanted to go back and try the Knights of the Old Republic again. They've wanted to try and go in there and tinker with the universe, fix the problems that they made the first time, because every artist makes mistakes. It's going to be so cool to try and see what it is. I hope that this is more than just nice graphics. I hope that this is more than just like a big flashy sequel. I want it to be both. I want it to be a reboot, I want it to be a remake, and honestly, I just want it to try and combine everything that was already epic about Knights of the Old Republic. I am hoping like hell that this is true, and the fact that they're talking about it, it'd be so freaking rad if they actually come out on stage at E3 and said, hey, we're actually bringing it back, and this time it's going to be launching on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And they show like a photorealistic version of a lightsaber just chopping people up. The crowd would go insane and I would be right there screaming my face off. But what do you think? Are you excited for this, or is it just me? Maybe I'm losing my mind. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. This is so freaking rad. thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.